sound. Should it be Francisco and JJ or JJ and Francisco? We can. That was actually debated.
Really?
Of course, that was debated.
I think you debate that yourself.
No, we discussed it.
remember debating.
Yeah, we did. We 100% did. We were like, how does it look better?
All right.
Yeah.
You generally don't remember this conversation.
No.
Well,
That's
it's
hilarious.
been a while. It's been 70 episodes.
Well, bro, there's people that.
We're good?
When
All
it-
right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, save it for the
Save it for the pod.
Now, everything that you've been saving. Here we go.
We got Paul Elia, everybody. We have welcome to the Standby Podcast with JJ and Francisco, which originally was going to be Francisco and JJ, but JJ wants his name first.
It's all my fault.
Yeah. But welcome. We have a great guest, a good friend of ours. Is Paul Elia. I should have asked any.
My name is Paul.
Credits. No, anything that you want me to tell you about so people know. I mean, now you have to just present yourself.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Introduce yourself so if you want to,
Yeah, what's up, y'all?
He's the creator
that was
yeah, there we go. Yeah,
creator of the low-key comedy show. I was going to say network, but not show.
Yeah.
So, yeah, which is a great show that you've been doing that for what? How long?
Well, it went through a bunch of evolutions, but we started back in pre-pandemic.
Oh, so it wasn't I thought it was during the pandemic because I know you were doing it in the back of a truck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the whole point is that he does the show and when the cops come, they just drive away, right?
Basically, yeah, we drive off with the stage.
No, because the stage is a pickup truck.
Oh, really?
Or it started as that, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, before we did it at the Comedy Store, the show was called Low-Key Upset. So I created the show with myself and Matt Rife. Mm-hmm. So we did the show at the Comedy Store, and then we did it for a year. And when the pandemic happened, and everything got shut down, I think it was March when everything got shut down, and then it was in July.
Yeah, it was St. Patrick's Day, wasn't it?
Yeah. Was it St. Patrick's Day when everything shut down?
Right around St. Patrick's Day.
Thank God.
Right there.
Thank God, man.
Yeah.
I think COVID came from St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, it all started from that. And it got really bad during Cinco de Mayo.
Well, think about it, St. Patrick is green, and all the pictures of COVID are green.
Oh,
every COVID
wow.
headshot has been green.
Have we got
What do you
room
mean
for this
COVID
conspiracy
headshot?
The picture of COVID,
like the virus?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the virus.
the gross
You haven't seen the
little thing
virus
with the-
picture?
Oh
with the
man,
spikes
no.
on it.
There's no name.
No, the picture. You
I mean,
mean
there's like you're talking about like Ghostbusters, like that
No,
the green glove thing.
Haven't you seen the picture of what it looks like?
you never seen the picture of the COVID molecule?
No.
I've seen a couple variations. You've seen the green one,
Yeah,
right?
there's also an emoji of it.
Yeah, there's an emoji, bro. Type in
Really?
COVID and a COVID emoji pops up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, bro.
Wait, does COVID has more followers than
Yeah,
Oh,
dude. Well, obviously.
Yeah.
COVID's doing really well.
People are dying
Oh,
to
there
join
it
that
is.
club.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
There you go.
Oh, so which
You're seeing this for the first time.
I
You've
mean
never seen COVID.
well, I
COVID, meet Francisco.
Now you believe it's real.
but there's a lot of them.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different colors, but the one I'm talking about, so
Yeah.
first they came out with, the very first one was green, and then they came out with this new one.
You know,
Okay.
they're like iPhones.
Yeah. This is like the COVID 7.
I mean, this looks like when you just go snorkeling.
Yeah, that
You
looks
know
like
what I mean?
algae.
It's just
Right.
like the corals and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
know,
You
like-
do snorkel in dirty ass water. I got to be honest.
No, what are you talking about? That's when in Venezuela actually a great snorkeling.
Oh yeah, bro,
Yeah.
I want to go. I can't wait.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's got a Venezuelan girlfriend. So he keeps texting me all the time about
For
hey,
tips?
she's saying
How do
this,
I-
she's
Yeah.
saying this, and I'm like,
He goes. And then Francisco's like, just say Vina.
Vaina. Yes, Vaina means a lot. Well, I did. Well, this is good news. I didn't know that. So you were saying about the COVID?
Oh yeah. So and then when COVID, basically it was like all the shows were canceled. There were no shows.
Yeah.
So we just decided to repurpose the show, and it was called Low-Key Upset. And we're like, let's just call it Low-Key Outside,
Got it.
Nice.
and let's just be outside. So we did it outdoors for a while, and then now that we're back inside, we changed it to Low-Key Comedy Show.
And I'm dying to ask
right.
you though. So you performed on this truck,
Yeah.
and then cops come, and
No, that was a lie. I
it was a
was
lie.
joking.
Oh, I thought it was a thing because I was about to go. Did you have to call the
This
cops?
whole
on
thing's a
yourself?
lie.
It's a lie. He's never even.
I'm not even here.
I'm actually COVID.
COVID doesn't exist.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man. I mean, actually, the truth is the cops, the very first time we did the show, the cops did come.
Yeah.
Right.
But so we basically set up the show. We got the chairs.
Where was this?
We did in the back of Matt's apartment building.
Okay.
So Matt was living in North Hollywood at the time. And we essentially talked to all of Matt's neighbors. And we were like, hey, we want to put on a show. Is it cool? And they all said no. So I was like, what if I talk to them? He goes, you could talk to them. So I talked to them. And then they were like, absolutely not.
And that still wasn't a deterrent for a comedian.
Dude, and then I was
why
like,
did you think that you were going to actually turn them?
because I had money.
Oh, okay.
I had money in my pocket.
Oh, you were going to bribe them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, right.
And they took it.
Oh, so then...
They took it and still said no.
No, they said yeah. That's hilarious. They ended up saying yes. Yeah. That'd be so fucked that he's taken. They're like, now get out of here.
They just bully
Quite
you.
the building you got there.
Yeah. A bunch of mob squad there.
Straight up, bro. I felt like a mob dealer. I was just
Really?
going through, and I was the people who'd had pushback was like there was this couple that didn't want the show. And then there was this other Russian woman who was living in Matt's building. She didn't want us to do the show. And also she didn't want, we had basically rent her parking spot.
Yeah.
Because in the back of Matt's apartment building, there were some parking spaces. And we basically had to pay people to use their parking spot.
Right.
So people were like, I'm not going to just park on the street. You're not going to take my spot. And I'm like, I'll give you $50 for 4 hours.
Yeah.
And then they all said yes. And then the show, we lost money, like doing the show. We were just constantly losing money.
How hard it is to run a gig in Los Angeles. You have to pay people to stay away.
Dude, yeah.
And do it in a parking lot of somebody's house.
Yeah. And then it was just like, then the comics were coming by and like some of them were graciously like, bro, just keep the money. We don't need it. But we paid them. We're like, yeah, here's $100.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. So it was good payment. I mean, per LA standards.
Per LA standards, yeah, bro. I mean, bro, I did a show where the guy gave me an envelope and in the envelope was $10.
Oh,
and I'm like
the envelope was more expensive than the dollar.
I'm like, why are you putting this in an envelope? I had someone give me a thank you card.
Was it sealed?
Sealed, bro.
Oh,
sealed.
man.
And then I ripped this. It's like, fucking, don't pay me.
I got an empty envelope recently in Britain on my British tour. I got an empty envelope. They didn't know. Luckily, I opened it up at the gig once the promoter gave it to me. And I was like, thanks. Open it up. I was like, hey, there's nothing in. Oh, it was at the Edinburgh Festival. I was like, hey, there's nothing in here. And they were like, oh, shit. And they had to rectify it and go find the money.
They just gave you
somehow.
They just gave you paper.
Somehow they failed to put my money in the envelope.
Well, they just they got lucky, or you got lucky that you opened
that I did it in front of them. Yeah,
because then they would be like, no, there was money in there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, how can you prove it?
They're trying
Maybe
it
that's
with
the
everybody.
thing about the envelope, because people don't open it.
Oh shit! I open all the envelopes, bro.
Yeah.
I open them right there.
Yeah.
In front of the mailman. I don't give a fuck, and I like stare at him
with eye contact. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I open other people's envelopes. That was shit.
Yeah,
I was
do.
like, "Where's my money?" I just I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
do you still get mail from other people's at your address, like the previous?
Yeah. Sometimes here and there, I guess. I'm like, and I always write, "Hey, this person doesn't live here." You know what I mean?
Dude,
I've got something
throw
even
it away
weirder happening
sometimes.
recently because I'm starting to get a new name that I haven't. There's two people who I've been getting mail for. I've been there for 5 years. I've been getting mail, but I got a new name that's been popping up. How does a new name come into the rotation?
That is true. Yeah.
So I'm like, somebody's scamming. At least it's not my name, but
Yeah.
Are you doing shows in your apartment?
Dude, I got in trouble because I got this letter and it said time sensitive, and it wasn't under my name.
And then you opened it.
I opened it,
Yeah.
and then I went to the landlord and I was like, "Hey, I got this letter in the mail," but he saw that it was opened, and then he was like, "Why'd you open it?"
Yeah.
And I was like,
I wasn't looking.
it was time sensitive. I just want to see what it was.
But you didn't see their name.
that was the reasoning you used.
That was a-
Why didn't you just go? I didn't read the name. I just opened it. But you're like, it said time sensitive. I thought maybe I'd help somebody else.
No, because honestly, I thought it was like, what if it was some like court case this day, and then I'm like, oh shit,
But
so
there's
let them know.
That's a lot of marketing too. They do that. Time sensitive is bullshit.
Yeah, it's time sensitive, and it's like time sensitive because this deal won't last long.
Yeah,
10%
yeah,
APR
yeah,
off your first 10 purchases on.
So you got in trouble for that?
No, he was just like confused, and he was like, yeah, I just don't.
And then he was
understand.
like, "Dude, you still owe me $50 for your show."
Exactly, I had to pay him. Yeah,
And then he's like, "You know what's time sensitive? Fucking pay me."
dude, that was a gnarly time, man. Like doing those shows, but I'll tell you this, bro. It was the most fulfilled I think I ever felt in Los Angeles.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Because you felt you were giving something to the
Because
people?
it was such the uphill battle of getting the show going in the first place and then actually pulling it off.
Man, it was a mixture of like a bunch of things, right? It was a mixture of that. It was a mixture of that, and it was just a mixture of just like like when we did the show and like we had Bill Burr come and do the show, and then I'm just like, holy fuck, bro! Like Bill Burr's doing stand up on a pickup truck,
Yeah.
and like, and I didn't even want to really make it about me, and I felt like for a while I would, because there's a lot
But
of.
I remember that you posted in your Instagram and like, "Hey, Bill Burr came to the show because of me."
yeah. I made sure to let everyone know, but it was just like I think a lot of times, especially in LA, like with what the city breeds is like it just convinces us that it's like we need to make it and we need to do this, and it's a lot of like and then like, and it was genuinely coming from a place of just like I just want to do a show,
Right.
like I don't care about me more than the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Like,
I
I
care
care-
about the show, except like it wasn't about you trying to do the show just so you can get something else.
Yeah, and also you're doing something for people because entertainment was just dead, wasn't it, for all that period? So putting on something, putting smiles on people's faces, actually, you're right. It felt more rewarding in that period when you do pull it off. And everybody's
man.
happy because
So whose pickup was it?
We rented a few. Like we.
Oh, so it wasn't. You just kept. Why did you decide on a pickup? To
I saw Michael Che did a show in New York,
okay.
and he did an outdoor show on a pickup truck. So he did it, I believe, twice, and then he didn't do the show again. And then Matt and I were like, well, if we need a stage, instead of buying a stage, let's just use a truck.
right.
And so we found I think the first show we did, we rented a U-Haul truck.
Yeah.
So we
Like,
did- yeah.
but a pickup or the ones that was like, they open.
No,
up?
the pickup.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, we did the pickup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we just felt like and then and then we started to realize like, dude, this is just a traveling comedy club.
Yeah.
You know, and then we did it in Eagle Rock, then we did it in Mid City, and then like there were some shows we did where we had 300 people. You know, like we were getting like big crowds to come by and. That's
great.
So who was driving this truck? I'm just, by the way, I just
not
care more
driving
about
during
the
the show.
truck than the show.
Yeah, I think you're a car salesman.
Loves truck.
Yeah, I've never seen someone more interested. Yeah, what's the VIN number of the stage?
But
Dude.
no, that's pretty cool. I mean, I remember seeing the shows, never did them, but I
You did do, yeah.
no,
I mean, it was.
Yeah, just slip that in there. And,
I'm just saying we're being honest here, right?
Well, bro, we're gonna do more, and I'd love to have both you gentlemen.
yeah, and especially since you're a truck guy.
yeah,
I didn't realize you're such a truck guy
I'm a truck guy, and I never got invited to
this
the
whole
truck
time.
I'm a monster truck guy. No,
So
but
out of curiosity, then, did you have the thought of maybe keeping the shows going? You know, once the pandemic ended or anything? But
We
you wanted to
we
get back indoors.
we
well,
still
they're
keep
just
them
doing
going.
the shows.
The
Oh, you mean
outdoor,
in the
these
truck?
outdoor
Oh,
truck
got
ones.
it.
Yeah, but we don't
that's
do
what
them
I
that much, man. Like we
Right.
do them maybe once every 3 months. Like we got our next one October 11th. So we have that one coming up, and then that's the last one of the year.
Right.
And then it's just, man. Also, it became a full-time job. It's like I'm promoting the show, and I was doing a lot of the work. It's like I was doing the marketing, I was doing the promoting, and then I was booking
All
the
right,
show.
now we're gonna bring Matt Rife to see, because somebody's doing all the work. This is what the show's about, basically. It's like Jerry Springer. We just
And then Matt shows up, and then we fight.
Yeah.
And then what's his name? Steve. Remember the security guard, Steve?
Oh,
from
yeah,
Jerry Springer?
yeah.
And then he got his own show.
He had his own show.
And then he
I
had
remember
his
that.
own Steve.
he has his own show.
He had his own show, yeah.
And what was so he
Dude.
was talking? Like what was he doing?
It was very
He was
Springer-esque, wasn't it?
So
It was-
so he started off as basically he was a stuntman, basically on the show of
Yeah.
Jerry Springer show. He would basically stop the fight.
yeah.
And then he started to get a microphone after like 10 seasons. They gave
yeah,
him a
'cause
mic to where he
started
could
to
talk.
become quite the celebrity, didn't he? Like they would all chant his name.
Yeah, they would chant his
when-
name.
as the fight was heating up. They're like, "Here comes Steve."
Wow.
Yeah, because they knew that he didn't fuck around and he would like yell at people. Like I think he yelled at someone legit, like one of the, I'm gonna call them contestants. He legit yelled at one of them. And then everyone was like chanting his name, and then that became like a thing. And so the network is like, "Yo, Jerry is gonna die soon, so let's just give Steve his own show." Then Steve had his own show, and also Steve is like there the whole time. He gets the format, he knows the thing, he knows which questions to ask. But also, I was gonna say, my aunt and uncles used to love Jerry Springer, and you know they came from Iraq, so when they would watch the show, in their minds, they're like, "This is what's outside of our doors.
This is America.
This is America.
This is 90% of America.
It's just a bunch of people like, I have something to tell you. I'm fucking your dad.
Yeah.
That's what they thought it was.
Yeah, they're like, that's America.
Well,
so the thing
they
is,
were kind of. I mean, it's kind of.
which is they're not far off.
Did they still think it was a better life?
Yeah, I mean, they were just like,
Oh, because they were over there, not here. They were in Iraq.
well, when they came to America, they were like, they were also like within their bubble. Like a lot of immigrants, when they come out here, they're like, yo,
yeah,
I
they
don't.
stick in they don't go out.
They don't
of
go
the
out.
bubble, which is crazy to me. I mean, because I always say like, I feel like when you move to, it's fine if you want to keep your roots. I get that, but I think once you move to any country, you should also live in that like in the culture of that country, and not just be in a bubble. I don't know. I mean, Venezuelan people do it. A lot of people do. And
Every culture does it.
I mean, every culture does it.
Culture
and
has a whole cul-de-sac somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, what's your culture, JJ?
Well, I'm Canadian,
And white.
but there's I'm white. I don't know if you noticed.
No,
But,
no. I thought you were like maybe like Russian or something.
Oh, I could. If only I was something else. I've done the heritage test thing, and it's
What does it say?
99% Irish.
Oh,
99%. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
it was pretty high, and then a little bit Swedish, and then a little bit something else. But it was. I'm white as all get out.
Dude, I know this girl who did one of those heritage tests, and she found out she was, I think, 8% Hispanic, and
Right.
she is acting 100% Hispanic now.
Oh, one of those that is like it's just like her name was Jasmine. It's like Jasmine.
Yeah,
It's like,
straight
all
up.
right,
Yeah,
come
yeah.
on.
And the thing is, and all she talks about, like, she just shits on white people. Like, she's like, oh, yeah, like a white guy. And then she even says it like this. She goes, yeah, well, the thing is, like, when I found out I was Latina.
Oh yeah,
So she's the Rachel Dolezal of Latina.
I always say when see people when they go like that, they're like because obviously I have an accent, but like some people they have like the American accent, and then all of a sudden it's like because like I went to Taco Bell, or I'm like, all right, you don't need to like pronounce like just say if you're speaking in American, you don't need to pronounce Latino.
Yeah,
but
but
like,
it's
they love to do it too. But it's not even it's to show off. That I'm like, hey, I know a little bit of, what I was like, nah, you're not, because also for me, it's like if you're speaking the American, you pronounce like with American accent, speaking Spanish, you know what I mean? Whatever.
But it's never the other way around. Like, I never heard a Spanish speaker like, the other day I had a hamburger. And
it doesn't
no
work
one
that way.
tries to.
Yeah.
But also it's like she has so much hate and like so much like resentment and like she keeps saying white people.
But why is it? I think some people sometimes they wanna have something else to show. Like to be like instead of just being they wanna add something. Like for example, if she found 8%, she's like, well, now I can say that
Now I have a uniqueness.
I have something more than you, and it's kind of like no, just be you. Like it doesn't. That's enough. I mean, yourself is really enough that you're not. You're very different from everybody else. But I feel a lot of people sometimes want to add that extra thing just to say I don't know.
Yeah, and also like also in LA, like acting and like the entertainment industry,
Exactly.
people want to be like, yo, I am something else because they're like, oh, minorities are getting work.
Yeah.
So people are like, fuck my identity.
Unique selling point. Your USB. Yeah, you make up something so that you're like stand out.
Yeah.
Makes you more exclusive.
Yeah, I mean it's like those like those white guys that wear dreads. That's so fucking. I know because he wore dreads.
You wore dreads? You were a white guy with dreads?
I did. I was a white guy with dreads about 15 years ago.
Dude, I don't think there's ever been a white guy with dreads that's like a CEO of anything.
hey, CEO of a party town.
Americans have a very different attitude towards the dreads than other cultures do, though.
Why?
So,
What do you mean?
like, actually, if you even look at American culture in the 90s, if you look at bands like Alice in Chains and Soundgarden and Blind Melon, like those guys all were white guys with dreads.
True.
And I came up in the
Papa
90s.
Roach had dreads
and then,
too, right?
Yeah, Papa Roach.
I don't know. I wasn't a Papa Roach guy, but yeah, there was dreads everywhere. And then, and I lived in Britain. I don't have to justify this. I know that he thinks
No,
it's
no, it's
ridiculous,
cool, man.
But it was
But Jets is a choice.
No, yeah, it was. Yeah,
And you wanted to do it. It was dope.
But you didn't do it to be like, because you wanted to be like
Reggae or
no,
anything.
like you didn't want to be white or whatever. Like it was.
No, it had nothing.
It was just like the style.
I've never
Yeah,
lived
yeah.
in a culture where I had to think that way. I think that's more of an American way of thinking.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
this
exactly.
defines this culture, and we
yeah.
are like I've never having lived in America now for 5 years. I don't mean you guys, but I just mean Americans are really hung up on dividing people by race and what belongs here and there.
It is.
Whereas even living in Britain, they don't really.
You're
you
just
don't-
British.
Yeah, you're just British. In fact, I remember we were talking about this. I was at a British wedding last weekend, and Patrice O'Neill, when he worked over in London, I was saying he even said that he was disappointed in London because he was no longer black. He was like, I'm not black anymore. I'm American now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
That's the way other cultures. See
Yeah, here
things,
is
but-
very like. I mean, that happened to me when I first moved here. You know, like I was like, I basically realized I was something else until after I moved here. Because in Venezuela, I was just like Venezuelan.
Yeah.
Like, and over there, like there's, you know, like there's a lot of like Spanish, Italian influence, but nobody's go like I'm Italian or I'm Spanish. No, you're just Venezuelan. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but
right.
here it's like I'm Italian, I'm Irish, and I'm on this, I'm all this stuff. Is like, and even when you fill out an application, they tell you. I mean, like you gotta put, like who,
They
like
wanna
what
know what
race are you, what ethnicity are you? It's like,
And they don't give you a lot of options.
yeah,
They really don't. Like it's like Latino.
yeah.
And it's like that is like
That's it. That's all
encompasses everything.
Well, it's Hispanic, Latino, whatever. Yeah, which is
Yeah.
even that's another thing too. Like the whole thing about here, like even being like white here means something else than just the skin color, because like for example, like my mom is white, like she's the same skin as you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like but here she's a woman of color,
Well,
which is so interesting because it's like, but here white also means like a culture. You know what I mean? Like it's not just you're just the color white, but like because again, my mom is white, but like here she's not white.
Right.
You know, she's Latina.
But that's why it's so hard to define people like that way. It's such an American way.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
being
yeah.
Canadian, and I've got my own unique life experiences, which are very different than some white guy who's going to come from Alabama. You can't
Exactly.
stand the two of us together and go.
Exactly.
But in America, sometimes that does happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
these white guys.
Yeah, no, I was talking to a buddy of mine. And he said something really interesting. He was like, "Well, first of all, like white is not a race.
Right.
Irish is a race.
Right.
Swedish is a race. German is a race. Like being like I am white. It's like it's actually something that we made up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a made up thing to be like to encompass all the European, basically the pigment. Like then pigment became race. So it's like the foundation of it in general. It's like you are black, you are brown, you are white, and it's like based on colors. And it's like now it's like it's starting to. I think we're doing a good job of trying to reinvent that in a lot of ways. You know, and it's like I'm not. But people are always going to be like white. Like we're too deep. We've lived this way for too long.
Yeah. Because even here, like when you joke, I mean, even like with comedy, you know, white people do this. Like when people say that as a stand-up in the American culture, you know which white people you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you're not talking because you're not thinking about like the Irish or the Norwegian person that just moved here. No, you're talking about somebody that's like, you know what I mean? So that's why it's like even saying that is like a type of culture because you're talking about I don't know, suburb, country club people. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know what it would be, but that's kind of
Because
like,
even there's many layers.
there's many,
to it.
yeah. So it's kind of like, you know, even so, yeah. Even that for me, when I moved here, I was like, oh, I was weirded out because I was like, what do I call my mom? I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
Like, because she's there, I just see the skin color and that's it, you know. But that was never even a thing over there, you know. But
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I was going to say. It was at this British wedding. We were talking about these things, and because Britain does have its hang-ups, and because it's the class system.
yes,
So there are a lot
most
about
in the world it's about
system.
class. Yeah.
And here in America, there isn't a class system, but they've figured out another way to categorize people.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then you were born in Detroit, right?
Yeah, like my parents are Assyrian from Iraq. Okay. So my parents are Chaldean Assyrian. Chaldeans are Catholic Assyrians from Iraq.
Catholics, Assyrians from Iraq.
Yeah. So my parents are Iraqi. I was born in America, and I don't really speak Arabic. And my name is Paul. So it's like basically I'm white.
You've been Americanized.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're American.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're American.
From Detroit.
Yeah, like no one ever looks at me and assumes, like people always assumed I was Italian. Like, including me. For many years.
Really?
Yeah.
You had your dad.
What do you mean? You thought,
I just thought
you look yourself in the mirror and you go like, "Hey."
I just thought I was whatever Christopher from TheSopranos was.
Oh yeah, you do look
Right.
like.
I was like, I'm that guy's race.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, like, and I feel
Paulie
like
Walnuts.
Paulie Walnuts. Which one was Paulie Walnuts again?
He was the guy with the
with the white.
with
Yeah. He died, bro.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, a lot of them. They're
Damn,
great.
bro.
Yeah.
A lot of the Sopranos. Tony Soprano has died. Paulie Walnuts has died.
That's
I think 2 others died.
oh they
Sopranos cast.
Yeah. One of the but so yeah, you thought you were
Not by
Italian.
gun violence, but
Well, I just never like my parents wanted me to be American.
yeah.
So that's the
here's
thing,
what I was
because
wondering,
also they
like,
came here. That's different from me, because like my parents, we came here because how old were you? How old were they when they moved here? Like young?
Let's see. My dad was born in 48 and he came here in the 80s. So he was like 33, 32. My mom came when she was like 19, 20. So they were relatively younger.
Yeah. So I get that to be like that, because when I moved here, my parents were like, it was never a talk about like, we're going to speak, you're going to be, like we spoke Spanish all the time, you know, it was never a thing of like, that for me to like.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was
just
never.
get in the culture.
Nah. I mean,
even though you are the
hear
first.
me.
Yeah, you need headphones. That's what you're missing.
Exactly. Well, that's what I was wondering. So if
Podcast ain't got no headphones.
So if you're first generation American, to your parents, they still have family back home, correct?
Yeah.
Have you gone home to visit them, and are you not necessarily outcasted, but are they consider you an American more than part of?
Yeah. Yeah, it's really sad, honestly. Like I want to be who I am, you know? And
But
like,
it's not sad, because that's who you are.
well, I feel like there's this whole part of me that is missing, you know, of like where my blood is from and where my DNA flows from, you know? So, and I just want, I want to go to Iraq and I want to like see where my parents grew up, and you know, I want to be able to speak Arabic better, which is I'm doing what I can to like learn the language and learn about my history, and like because I just don't want to be the comic who like talks about Iraq and having immigrant parents.
But
and
you
ain't got
have no
shit.
idea. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then
like you're just making like bullshit. You're just using it to score points with the crowd. But like, did you really go there or whatever?
yeah, and it's like, then how am I different than the 8%
of course,
woman? I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like I don't want to do that. That's why it's like authenticity was like
That's true.
so important to me, and I think that's something I really make evident in like my stand up is like I'm gonna say the truth and only speak from what I know. So it's like, all right, cool. If I'm gonna talk about this, then I gotta just be honest and be like, bro, I've never had to experience the hate my friends experience. Like I have Arab friends that experienced a bunch of shit growing up as kids, the way they looked, you know, how thick their eyebrows were, and like people making fun of them and the way they looked. And me, people would be like, am I right? You know what I mean? And then I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like I've been in cars where like people are like my friends' dads were like, I'm in a car with a bunch of like a white family, and like my friends' dads are like just being racist as fuck, saying shit about Arabs in front of me.
And then,
And I wouldn't say shit. In my mind, I'm like, man, this guy's my ride.
Yeah.
God, you're like an
He's my ride or die.
You're like an undercover cop. You're like an undercover race,
Bro,
Just
straight up.
blend
That's
in.
a great show.
You can undercover race.
Undercover race? Yeah.
You get
It'd be like punked for like catching racist people.
Yeah, and then you're like, well, look who we are.
And it's just me. Yeah, man.
Hey, let's pitch it.
Because I see that more
let's do
since
it.
I've moved to America as well. There are more, like, there's people on stage all the time who I think are white or whatever, and then they go, because I'm Latina. And I'm like, I can't tell, but I'm just not used to it.
That same girl, it's 8%. We had like we all hung out, all of us. We did a show, then we went to a bar, and like she
By the way,
was
her
there.
name is 8%.
So I was just call it 8%. So 8%, we're at a bar, and then we all got some drinks, and she goes, "Okay, everyone, salute."
Oh no!
And then we all started to like cheers, and then she goes, "Did everyone salute?" And she's like trying to like get everyone. I'm like, shut the fuck.
Yeah.
Trying too hard.
It's trying too hard. It's what people that try too hard to be like It's like, just be you, man. Just be who you are. Yeah.
Bro, it's a costume.
Yeah.
She basically found this new costume.
Exactly.
And was like, I'm just going to wear this.
Yeah. Until something else becomes popular, and then I'll wear something else, kind of thing.
Bro, I'd have so much more respect if she's like, hey, I don't know what I want to be in life.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm just going to do the closest thing that is popping. I'm just going to be that.
Yeah.
It's like, just
to
say
me,
that.
that's more respectful when people, when like, just tell the truth. Because we know because what's funny is like, a lot of times when people do stuff like that, like it's obvious and everybody sees it. So it's kind of like you're not fooling anybody. You know what I mean? So it's like it's actually better to be like, yeah, I do this because I want to get it.
I don't even like it when Canadians and Americans call themselves Irish even if they're from like my father. My father who never lived in Ireland
you don't
or
like
anything,
your father.
but still calls himself Irish. And
Let's
I'm
talk
always
about
like,
this,
Dad,
JJ.
you're not. Dad, you're Canadian. You're Canadian. But he's like,
yeah.
because when I'm in Ireland or I call him, he's like, don't forget that you're Irish. And I'm like, I don't feel that way, Dad. I feel that I'm Canadian. But a lot of the older generation, the boomers, they love having that identity. And you go through Boston and you can ask
but I
people,
mean,
they're
I
like,
guess,
I'm Irish.
but
Have
some
you ever
of them
been?
at least,
And they've never been.
Even so I don't. But then I was gonna ask you. So then you grew up in Detroit.
Yeah.
And then when did you first move to? Did you always want to do comedy, or is that a thing, or like did
No.
you? Oh.
No, honestly, growing up, I wanted to be a criminal.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
A criminal?
Detroit, man. It's Detroit.
A criminal?
Yeah.
But like, what? But like,
What kind of entry-level
criminal?
crimes were you doing?
I was stealing a lot as a kid.
Really?
Yeah, I was stealing a lot. I
But
was
like
fighting a lot.
shoplifting?
like,
Or-
like, give me your fucking money, or like, shoplifting.
No, like shoplifting and like...
Like what? Like candy and stuff?
Yeah, candy. I'd steal candy a lot, clothes, toys,
Wow.
just anything to get my hands
What
on.
was your
really.
style? Did you go
Wow.
in with bags in your with the bags of the store in your pants, and then take the bags out and put the stuff in the bags?
Honestly, bro, I had the worst strategy.
Oh, were you just blunt?
What
No,
was it?
I would go and I would take something and put it in my pocket, and then I would grab something and then buy another item,
Okay.
just to let them know that I'm like, why would I steal something if I'm willing to pay for this?
Yeah, I was just being absent-minded for a second.
Yeah, so then I have an out if they catch me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and then like that was early on, man. Like early on, I grew up in like a really rough neighborhood, and like it was.
Were you like? Did you belong to a gang?
I tried to join a gang. Actually.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, I tried to join a gang, and honestly, bro, 100% true. They didn't let me join because I had allergies.
What?
Dude, I had severe allergies.
It's so funny. You had to fill out forms to join the gang. Like, please tick the box
what do
that
you mean?
applies
So you were
to
like,
you.
hey guys, I just really want to be. It's like, get the fuck out.
No, because I remember I asked them like because it was this gang. It was called the Southfield Players.
Southfield Players. That sounds more like a musical.
Yeah.
Right? Hey everybody, Southfield. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like West Side Story, but in Detroit. Yeah, man, I was.
So like, what happened? You were like, they told you like you wanted to join the gang, and then what did they say?
I
about
wanted
that?
to join the gang, and like I was talking to they're like young kids, and like the gang, like what we do is we would fight people, and we would basically jump people. So basically, it's like there's someone that someone in the crew doesn't like.
Yeah.
They're like, let's follow them home and let's fight them.
Oh wow.
Right, and then if there's
Wait, how
like,
old is this? By what age?
I was 6th, 7th grade.
Okay, so like 12, 13.
12, 13, yeah.
Okay, yeah,
12,
yeah.
13, yeah. So then we
Bunch of punks.
oh, bro, we were some punks.
Yeah.
But we didn't, you know what I mean? We were all broke.
Yeah, this is like, it just reminded me of that movie. What was that movie with Robert De Niro and that he drives a bus?
Oh, Bronx Tale.
Bronx Tale. This is, it's like those kids.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Like that. And then
Like that, yeah.
and then, you know, over the years, it's like, you know, a lot of those kids, you know, a lot of them are in jail now.
Yeah,
you
because
know?
they grew up to be professional criminals.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how you start, no? That's really how, I mean, like,
You got to start somewhere.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They're
you
just
start-
open micing it.
So like, but then what happened when
You lose
about
your
the
amateur
allergy?
status,
I wanted
and
to
then-
like, how did they tell you? Like, what was it?
So one of the guys, like, I always had severe allergy attacks constantly.
Okay.
So they would like sort of flare up out of
Of
nowhere
what?
sometimes. Just of pollen season, I would just constantly sneeze.
Actually, maybe you're just allergic to fear, to crime.
Potentially, bro.
Yeah.
But they were allergic to just bitch ass motherfuckers like myself.
It's amazing if you were a great fighter and you could be a great gang member and you got knife skills and everything, but a flower can take you down.
Oh, take me down. Straight up, yeah. Because like I remember I asked one of the kids who was my friend, I was like, hey man, can you ask if I can join the gang? And he was like, bro, I'll ask. So then he asked this dude, this kid was like, yo, Paul's trying to join the gang. The guy's like, nah, man, the motherfucker be sneezing too. And then he came back up to me and he goes, hey man, RB. His name was RB.
RB? Like
RB.
the burger?
Yeah, but I think he spelled it just R and B.
Oh, R. Okay.
RB was like, yeah, bro. So he was like, yeah, man, RB said that you sneeze too much. And then I was like, fuck. So then I'm just
You're
like,
useless in May.
But you know what? Actually, allergies save your life.
straight up, bro.
Because if you would have joined the gang, you would have probably been in jail now.
Bro,
Sneezing your ass
I need to
away.
thank Paulin
Yeah, yeah.
for keeping me out of jail.
Yeah, that was
or he
it.
could be the king of Detroit.
No,
Dude.
no,
No, man.
because all the guys are in jail. He said.
Yeah, man, but like I was gonna go to law school. I mean, like obviously it's like this younger part of me.
Wait,
like,
what happened? Wait, whoa, 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 whoa,
I noticed.
I'm just jumping.
Wait, what movie is this? It's a little fucking.
I'm jumping. I went from
is this?
I went from the other side of the law. I went from being a criminal to wanting to be a lawyer.
Like, how did you
Four
go,
criminals.
How do you go from stealing clothes, wanting to join a gang, well, and then wanting to be a lawyer? Like, what the fuck? Like,
Got
what
many-
happened?
he's got
to-
many dreams,
what
man.
changed? What changed?
I had an uncle who got in a lot of trouble, and we had
I know. Is it Sneeze McGee?
Niece McGee. Who's Niece McGee?
Sneeze McGee.
Sneeze McGee. Sneeze McGee.
That's your uncle.
Hilarious, bro. This guy had no allergies. He just fucking. The guy was just bad, bro.
Badass.
So he got in trouble, and then you saw that, and you're like, I don't want to do this.
Man, honestly, bro, I think things really took a turn when because I eventually was joined that gang.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, briefly. Like we were fighting people all the time. Like they needed members, and they were like, "Yeah, well, let Paul run with us." And then
Yeah,
like,
right.
we
Let's suspend our allergy.
yeah, they basically invited me in regardless
Yeah.
Right.
of the condition I was in. And then we would get into fights, and I was like the first one to swing.
Wow.
And the thing is, I would be so afraid. Like I'd show up to a fight, and I'm like, I don't want to hurt anyone.
Yeah.
And then you know that feeling you get like when the cop pulls you over?
Yes. Yeah.
Francisco?
Yeah.
Like yeah,
No, that's the only thing I know.
What's that like, guys? What's it like?
but bro, you've been like, you know that feeling, like your heart drops out of your chest,
yeah,
like
yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
Every time a cop pulls me over, I'm like, I have coke
Yeah. Yeah.
for some reason. So I get that. So I had that feeling of like my heart just dropping, and then I would just push through and just punch someone. And I would just and then I eventually developed this like fearless mentality of like, I will fight anyone and I don't give a fuck.
So you were the trigger happy guy out of
Very.
your group. You were the first one that just went.
You were Sonny.
That's how Sonny's character was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in
like,
Godfather, yeah.
Like the
Quick.
and like just fucking.
Yeah.
That's why he wasn't good a good Godfather, because he was just too crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
temperamental.
and like me, a lot of it was rooted in I wanted to prove to them. It was about acceptance.
Oh, right.
So I was like, even though I did not want to do it, and I didn't know this person, I didn't know why we were fighting them, I would do it so they would like me.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So then I started to, eventually things got wild, and bro, I remember one of the guys was like, yo, dude, we're about to jump this one kid. Are you coming? And the reason why I didn't go is because I had another jumping.
Wait, you were in two gangs?
I got a busy schedule, man.
You were in two gangs?
There was another crew who was like, Paul will fight anybody. So they're like, yo, dude, we're about to fight these other kids. And they were just kids I was friends with. And they're like, they were like, we're just gonna fight this other kid.
Yeah.
And then the gang I was with was like, we're gonna fight someone. I was like, well, I already committed.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, hey,
this
I got
fight.
a 2:00 B. You know, like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I
I
was
got to
just like,
double up my fight.
Yeah. So what happened? You didn't go, and then the other guys got. Is it
I
like,
didn't go to either one. Cause then I was just like, bro, what am I doing? I'm just gonna fucking. And also, it's like I saw like my mom was like,
Being overbooked made you really think hard about like, is this the career for me?
I was like, I could do it on Zoom.
Wow.
I can Skype myself in.
That's so wild that you were the trigger happy guy because I was the tall guy in my group of friends, and I wasn't.
your gang?
I wasn't. We wasn't a gang, but I wasn't much of a fighter. But Halifax is a tough town. It's a military city. It's pretty fighty. You remember Darren Rose was on our podcast.
That's right.
Told us about getting his cheeks broken.
Yeah.
But as the tall guy in my little group of friends, the trigger happy guy in a rival group they always go for the tall guy, and I was just the gormless, goofy looking. I was not the fighter.
the shaggy.
But yeah, my friends who were the fighters were always like, I was like the bait.
Yeah,
The tall, goofy, lumbering guy with the weird smile, and then so I'd always get.
So you were like the decoy.
I'd get attacked first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, you were basically Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Joe Pesci also was like, he did it for respect. He goes, you're going to fear me. Mm-hmm. Me, I was like, I want you to like me.
Yeah.
I didn't really care much for fear or being revered.
Mm-hmm.
I just was like, just think I'm cool, please.
Yeah. You wanted to belong.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is why you became a comic?
In a lot of ways, bro. Like it was crazy. I would listen to my comedy, and like as I'm listening to my comedy, and I'm like, I'm saying material that just has so much hints of like me, please.
Yeah.
Early on, especially early on, like obviously.
Yeah, because I remember one of his early bits was like, "Hey guys, come on, like me. Guys, just laugh. Come on, just like me,
please."
No punchline. No nothing.
Yeah.
It was 5 minutes of that.
Yeah. And then I got a record deal.
Right. Have any of your gigs?
And the name of the album is Like Me.
Yeah.
Have any of your gigs ever gotten a bit fighty?
Which one?
Like any of your shows? Like have you had like a heckler that's escalated into like let's take it outside, man?
No, bro. Honestly, all my once I started really dispel the whole like me from my persona, a lot of anger and a lot of other things
It went away.
Right.
went away.
Yeah, because I met you for a while. I never even realized you were like a fighter guy or like a gang guy. You know what I mean? Like I've never thought, because you never came across to me as like an angry guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like it definitely
Because he just didn't find you threatening.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh shit. Yeah, bro. I was looking at Francisco like this fucking.
I'm not worried
happy
about
guy.
that.
No, but it's true. I never. So you obviously that was good that you don't have that anymore. You know what I mean? Because like it's not with you. Because it'd be suck if you had that with you all the time.
Yeah, it's not
man.
a funny part of a comedian's personality either. If you're always trigger happy and like
want to fight people and then so did you start comedy in Detroit?
I did one show in Detroit,
Okay.
and then
How'd it go? How many sneezes did you get?
Bro, the first show I ever did in my life, right, was in the MGM Casino in Detroit, and it was a 2,500 seat venue, and I've never did
That
stand-up.
was the first show you did?
First show.
For a 2,500? Wow.
That's a bit of the deep end.
Yeah, you know
That was-
Sean
but that was-
Majumder.
But that was
Yeah,
without...
Sean's from Newfoundland.
Yeah, he's the
from-
one who booked me on the show.
Oh, right on.
But that was did you do open mics or anything? Or that
None.
This was just the first ever?
First ever.
Oh,
First
fuck.
ever talking on a microphone
Wow.
in front of a crowd.
Wow.
In my life.
You do really like to get beat up.
Oh my God, bro. It was wild, man. Like I just
How did Sean Majumder decide to put you on in that kind of circumstance? If you hadn't
he was
done
about to beat him up. Put me on the show, man. Or
I'll get you on stage.
I'll sneeze.
Or I'll sneeze your ass. That's a very, like, by the way, very Dick Tracy like villain. Like you're the sneezes. You know, sneezes. You know, like if you're a gang, you're like sneezes, and you're like, hey, Dick.
Oh yeah.
You know?
It's like that guy 2 times that says, "Oh, get the papers, get the papers."
Yeah, get the paper. Hey, this is Paul Sneeze. He sneezes all the time. Hey, what's up?
This is Allergic. Hey, Allergic. Yeah.
So wait, so how do you put you in the show?
So I was working on a TV show in Detroit, and Sean was on the show as one of the main actors on the show. That's how I basically got into show business. I was working as a stand-in for Michael Imperioli from TheSopranos. The guy that played Chris-
really?
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
It was,
that's so funny.
It was actually happening.
Wait,
Oh, right. Oh,
That's-
okay.
Oh, so hey, you see, this is he planted his seed and then he brought it back.
Yeah.
Smart podcast
Ultimate
guy.
callback.
Yeah, I've done podcasts before.
But wait, did he? So is he your same height and everything? Mm-hmm. Wow, I thought he was taller.
Me too.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Right.
But he's a cool guy, right?
Bro, this guy is one of the, I would say this, he's such a gentleman.
Right? He looks really cool.
Really cool, bro. And like the thing is, I was so eager and I wanted to learn so much.
Was for The Sopranos or for what?
For a different show. It's called Detroit 187.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was after The Sopranos.
After Sopranos,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
This was back in 2010.
Got it.
So in 2010, they were shooting this TV show in Detroit,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was his stand-in. So I basically like,
How'd you get that gig?
I joined an extras agency in Detroit because at the time they were filming a lot in Detroit.
Got
like
it.
they were filming the Transformers movie there. They filmed like a bunch of other TV shows there. Basically, Detroit had this film incentive.
Atlanta is.
It became what Atlanta is.
Right, okay.
You know what I mean? And they were filming a lot of shows there. And then I was in law school at the time, or not in law school, I was in college at the time, and I was going to go to law school. And then I dropped out of college to work on the show. And I was like, I'm going to work on this show and take a semester off of school. I had one semester left of school anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let me just work on this show, get some experience.
And then you go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I started working on the show. And then Michael was such a gentleman because like as a stand-in, like I was only just supposed to stand in front of the camera and for lighting.
For blocking and everything.
And then I leave. Right. But what I would do is I would memorize his lines.
Oh, you would?
I'd memorize.
Wow, extra step.
That's
Extra
so
step.
smart.
And then so they'd be like, all right, let's just walk through the scene. And then I would walk through and I would go up to like the other stand-ins and I'd be like, so where's the body? And I would just say the lines and things. They'd be like, the body is right there. And then I'd be like, all right, looks like we got a blah, blah, blah. And I would like say the lines and do the actions. And like, at first people are like, what the fuck?
This guy is.
Yeah, but overall, it's
But
probably a
that's such
better
smart-
approach to your
very
job.
smart and very
Yeah.
smart
Yeah,
to do
bro.
that.
After like the first week, everyone was like weird and they actually told me to stop.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, I'm not going to. And then Michael like started to like it and he would watch and he'd be like, man, this guy's getting better. Then after a few months, he was like, dude, good job. Like we did an
Yeah,
interrogation
I liked your
scene.
choices, man.
Straight up.
Yeah.
And then he would,
You never taken acting at that point before.
I did take a acting class, but it was not like this.
Yeah.
It was like Detroit, a guy who was like, hey guys, I was in 8 music videos as an extra and I'm teaching a class. And everyone's like, this guy is
Yeah.
next to JC.
Yeah. He's like, you see me? That's my shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, ah, man.
And he has like headshots of his shoulder on the wall. It's like diplomas.
Hey, is this the big pimpin' video? Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, Crazy.
So that was very smart that you did that. And then,
But we were going to try to get to how he got on stage for the show.
Yeah, so Michael
No,
was
yeah, so- yeah,
Michael was
because-
an actor on the show. And then so I mean Sean was. So Sean
Right, okay.
was playing one of the cops. So Sean was like, yo, bro, we're doing this big benefit show in Detroit. It's called Mittens, Mittens for Detroit. And we're gonna do this big comedy show. And I was like, well, Sean, I do comedy, man. Like, can I go up and do a few minutes?
You bullshitted.
You lied?
Basically.
Yeah, I lied to him. And I was
But
like,
why
yeah,
did
dude.
you lie? But okay, I get it lying about getting something, but why did you lie about stand up if you never even done it? Or did you always like to do it? Is that
I just wanted to do it. And I
Okay.
figured if I lie to him and tell him I've done it before, he'd be more inclined to say yes. Because I really
Wow.
just
That
wanted
is
to
so
do it.
fearless, dude. To
Yeah.
first spot in front of 2,500 people, and you've lied to your peers.
Yeah.
And you've told-
I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah, you are, bro. You are like, I'm trying to find the good thing about it. I'm like, nah, you're just a piece of shit, man. You fucking beat people. You fucking join a gang. Then you lie. Then you start doing fucking lines when people are doing blocking. Fucking shut the fuck up, man. It's like,
and it's getting them further and further in life.
Then you open people's mail. It's not even
you order
yours.
people's mail. You're doing fucking shows when people want to go to sleep. Hey, you're perfect for this industry. Welcome to Hollywood.
Man, I hope we put this on TikTok.
Hey, with me.
How and the gig
So
went.
then
The
what
gig was fine. The gig went fine.
Of course, it cannot be. Well, no, usually, you know what? My experience of what I've
The
heard.
bigger
people-
audience.
No, like usually the first one, if it's like, if you're meant to happen, you have like beginner's luck and it goes well or it goes okay. And
Yeah.
then the next one is when you really bomb.
Yeah, but Sean Majunda probably brought him on,
So-
going, "This guy's been doing it for years."
Yeah, but nobody
He
knows
told me.
that. So what happened?
Man,
How long did you have to do, by the way?
he asked me to do 7. I got off at 4.
Okay, that's not a good sign.
Yeah.
So what happened? Did it go well or no?
But it did not go well.
But it wasn't straight silent.
It wasn't straight silence.
Okay.
It was like every time I said a punchline, like I heard like it was like it was like imagine 2,500 people just collectively like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was a lot of those. And then I eventually got like one big laugh because I just addressed the reality of what was happening.
That's good.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I got like a big laugh and I was like, oh, so this is what laughter sounds like. And it like almost pushed me back.
The wall of wind when you're in those big theaters
Yeah,
is great, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you,
Whoa, this is what this is what when you feel that you're like, oh fuck, this is what it's supposed to feel like. Wow, this is good.
Yeah. So then when I had that, I had this moment of like, I'm doing it. Then I said the next joke, and then it was like, it was like back to that.
Yeah. So it's basically like when you're having sex, with somebody, and you're like, you make a good move, and you're like, and you get the person's reaction, like, and you're like, oh, I'm doing it, and then you go back, and you're like, nah, nothing happened.
Yeah, it was nothing because you realize it was just something else that like they were like,
Yeah.
oh, you're thinking about something.
The magical combination keeps changing.
Wow. So then after that, you're like, I'm moving to Hollywood.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. I moved to
Is this
LA.
because, so after that, you're like, I want to do stand up because of that show?
Not stand up, but I was like, I'm going to act and move to
got it.
LA.
You wanted to become an actor.
Yeah,
Michael
yeah.
Imperioli.
Yeah.
So
Did you get in contact with him when you moved here?
Yeah, I mean, I was messaging him, and a lot of people on the show were very helpful. They were like introducing me to people, and
That's cool.
one of the camera women on the show lived in LA, and she was like, "I'm doing another shoot in Atlanta. You can live in my house for free for 9 months." So I had a free place to live for 9
that's a
months.
great
Did
start.
she wanted you to do something else or what?
Bro, just take care of her cat
Oh, really?
and fuck her cat.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah. You know what he's like.
Right? You guys had to do that too, right? Or is that?
Hey, okay, now I know. Did you go like, hey, but I'm allergic to cats?
Yeah. Then I sneezed, and it triggered me.
Wow. So then you came here and then you started acting.
Yeah.
So you never wanted to. Oh well, you did stand up, but like that wasn't your.
Yeah, so was
It was my
stand up
thing.
still something that you kind of stumbled into then in your time here?
Yeah,
Were
well-
you just restless or something? And
Man, I was restless as fuck, bro, because I was just like, this is fucking dumb. I was like, LA is just, because I ended up getting representation like the first month and a half.
Wow.
I got reps and I got booked on jobs.
Wow.
Like within the first first 4 months, I worked on a movie already.
That's like you're like the exception.
Bro, I was the exception. And then it was like right when I moved here, I signed with like a big management company that represented like all A-listers. Well, not all, I would say several. And then I was also on the roster. And the guy only represented 20 people.
Wow.
It was like a big management company.
That's awesome.
He doesn't mind if I say it. It was Metavoy Management, which is also the truth. His name was Brian Metavoy.
Okay.
Right. So I'm with this company, and then I did this play, and then the play got a bunch of great reviews. A lot of the creator of the play was a big EP, and it was an EP of a bunch of shows. He was working on Justified, worked on a bunch of shows with Stars.
Yeah.
And like he was a big player in the game. You know what I'm saying? Very respected guy.
Yeah.
So I started to get a lot of heat, and people started to know me. And then after the play was over, and then I started to book a few jobs, and then I was like just sitting at home doing nothing. I was just going to the gym, and then I'd go to the gym, then I'd come home, and then I'd submit myself for projects like incessantly, and then
Nothing was happening.
and then I'm like doing that again every day, and then I'm like, dude, this is Groundhog's Day.
Yeah.
right.
So then I'm like, I'm not even enjoying LA. And also, I didn't really have it in me to want to enjoy LA. Because I was like, bro, I'm here to be a movie star. That was basically my mentality.
Yeah.
And then I just started to,
Not enjoy even being here.
at all.
Right.
At all. And then that's why I was like, man, I want to do stand up. I had all this creativity I want to just get out.
Yeah.
So then I did a open mic at the Haha. And then Sean Kerrigan was hosting. And then I just started doing comedy every day after that. And then I was
that's
doing
cool.
stand up every single day for years.
Nice.
And then I just kept going and kept doing stand up. And then eventually I didn't even like think about acting or auditions.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, if they come, great. In the
Yeah,
meantime,
yeah.
I'm just gonna do stand up.
Which is so cool because it's very hard. I mean, I basically was the same thing too. Like, just like, I find it very hard to be an actor. Like when you don't have, like we have stand up. We can do stuff. We can go shows. We can write. There's something else going that we can control.
Well, you're your
ourselves.
own boss,
Yes.
right? Yeah, you're your
But
own.
to
You're your own
acting is
influence.
What do you do? Yeah, you just wait around. I mean, like, unless you're doing other stuff, but like, it's very hard to have that mentality of like, because at least with us, we're still being creative.
It helps a lot to be in control of something.
Yeah.
You know, to have some sort of control.
Yeah, and then, but when you moved here, did you move by yourself?
Yeah.
You did? Did you drive or flew? Or
Dude,
whatever?
the first time I got on a plane in my life was to come to LA.
Wait, what?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've never been out of Detroit ever?
I mean, I went to Chicago once.
Right.
But like driving?
No, I flew.
Oh, okay. So
No. I drove to Chicago because it's close.
Yeah.
But the first time I ever got on an airplane was to come to California.
Wow.
When I was,
Big trip. The big trip.
22, 23.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. I always find, I mean, not this, because I don't know. I guess I assume people fly all the time, but a lot of people, when they go like, yeah, I flew the first time when I was older, I was like, oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So, and did you didn't know anybody here? You just moved by yourself?
No, I knew some of the people from the show.
Oh, got it.
And then I started like I met a lot of people through the play that I did. Like I did this play and I knew a bunch of people. And then, you know, I had a circle of friends. Some of them I'm still close with today.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Not Michael Imperioli.
We email sometimes, you know, I check in and he checks in and, you know, we say what up.
Okay.
Great guy, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Seems it.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, you should be.
There we go.
Well,
You even said that in a threatening manner. You should be. See
we're
how it
almost
happens?
at the time, so I think we gotta.
Oh, right on.
Dude,
Well,
why?
we do have a
Why can't
couple
this be a
of...
3-hour episode?
Paul, the comedy star. Yeah.
People are back. Who's
also,
Francisco?
Like, I like short podcasts.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, what else? I mean, you can come back.
Yeah,
and we
man.
have another episode.
JJ, Francisco, and Paul.
Yeah.
Paul, JJ, and Francisco.
Yeah.
See, it takes a while to figure out.
It should be called Paul Standby with JJ and Francisco.
Or sneezes. With
Sneeze
JJ.
by.
Sneeze by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll change the plane to a coronavirus.
By the way, do you, well, quick, one question that I wanted to ask the stuff that we had. Are you superstitious in any way in terms of like when you travel or even for stand-up or shows, do you wear like a shirt or do you like, do you tap something in case, you know, or do you pray or do something, you know?
I used to be very superstitious
Okay.
of things because I used to always because I wanted something to go well. And then if my mind tells me it won't go well unless you do this, I
Yeah.
would do that thing.
Got it.
Right.
Yeah. I was
So
doing that
what?
a lot.
Like what? An example
I was
of-
doing that with I had a leather jacket.
There we go.
I remember
Clothing.
you wearing
The
a
clothing
leather
thing.
jacket.
Do you remember?
Yeah, even at the gym. I was like, I remember bumping into him. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
leave the jacket at the,
You won't let this go.
Yeah, you're like, what are you doing in this sauna?
Comfort jacket.
yeah, in the pool. He was wearing the jacket.
Yeah, dude, bro. I remember I wore that jacket so much that like the inside material started to like just disappear.
Right.
Shit.
Yeah. It was like, yeah, man.
But you were
actually-
having great gigs, though, weren't you? You having great gigs in it?
Dude, I think I bombed once in it, and it was because I was like, it was me, not the jacket.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's just funny, like, because I had that thing too, you know, when I started, it's like, and then you realize, so dumb. Like, to think, like, I have to wear this to have a good set, or I have to wear this, you know, like,
Yeah.
wait, you're still wearing the jacket? I feel like,
I have the jacket outside.
I feel like he's like, no, I still do it.
No, well,
It's important.
well, you because you bring up a good point because it's like, I think the more
It's
I'm just like,
insecurity.
yeah, it's insecurity. I'm like, bro, like I've been doing this for, you know, over a decade, and it's like I'm good enough to where it's like I don't even think about that anymore. Where it's like something can go wrong.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's so interesting. It's like the mentality I have now when I approach a show. Like I did a show last year. Hassan Minhaj was doing the Fox Theater in Detroit, and it was 5,000.
Oh, nice.
5,000 seats. And
Oh,
Hassan,
you were gonna get your revenge, your comeback tour.
yeah, it's my comeback tour, right? And then I'm like, and then I'm sitting in the back, and it's like, you know, it's like 4,000 people in there, and like people are like walking in at the same time. And honestly, I was just like talking to one of the stage guys before I went on stage. I was like, oh, we're about to go up. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Then I went up and I did it. And then I went in the back and I watched. And I wasn't thinking. And then till later, I was just like, oh shit. Like, it's interesting to think about. Like, I didn't even think once about
Right.
who's there, who's watching, or what's happening, or what am I
just
wearing.
outgrew those comfort crutches. Just
well,
like
the
that.
guy did tell him like, "Hey, you forgot your jacket."
They didn't give me the light; they gave me the jacket.
Yeah. I used to not want to eat like an hour and a half
stuff like
before,
that,
and now lately I've noticed I'm like eating while I'm on my way to the stage. Just get it in.
Well, I remember, it's just again. It's like I remember even like because also when you first start, you don't realize how. I mean, it is very hard. So it's like you see. I remember even being working here at the door and seeing guys comic. They're talking in the hallway and then like. Talking normal, like we're talking, and then all of a sudden, just go up, and I'd be like, "Are you?" I was like, "What? You're not even, like having a moment for yourself and doing all this stuff."
Yeah.
And it's like, no, when you do, and that's anything because even acting. When I was doing this show, Angie Tribeca, I remember like we're doing it like with the actors, and like, we're just talking, like they were just talking, like, "Oh, I like your shoes, whatever, action," and then just start boom, like right away.
Yeah,
like they're not. And I get it. There's certain times where you do need to have a little more concentration. You're gonna tape something, or it's a scene that's heavy scene that you need. Of course you do. But for most of the time, it's like we don't. It's all in our minds. You know what I mean? And we make that. I have to wear this, or I have to tap theater, or whatever. But it's like it's bullshit.
Yeah, there was actually a comic who was about to do a show, and they had on some like studio Dr. Dre headphones, Beat headphones, and they're like in the back, like
right. Eminem, they're like doing the
straight up
you
on
gotta
some
lose yourself.
Eminem, and then they're about to go up. They took off the headphones, and then the dude was like, like he's about a fucking deadlift, and then he bombs for the entire set. The entire set bomb. Went on stage and like was just not making like any sense really. and also like I hate when comics say coochie. It's like that's such an old word.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that he was on stage. He goes, "Yeah," and I said, "Give me some coochie." The white guy. He's like, "I said, give me some coochie." And then I think I knew he was. I love when comics bomb. It's so
getting
great.
worse and worse.
The best is to watch a comic bomb.
Yeah, because it's the best when hearing them bomb and hearing them like make sounds like when they bomb. Like the guy bombed. He goes, "Yeah, some coochie." Then he was like.
Like air slowly leaving a balloon.
Dude, I heard a comic bomb at the Improv Lab, which is the Improv Lab. I will
hard.
say it's not
an easy.
It's not an easy room because it exposes everything. You have nowhere to hide.
And also, I feel like a lot of people go like, "Why didn't I get to the big room?" I feel like a lot of the audience.
Yeah,
So then they're like, they're already not coming with like that much energy. So it's like that.
Oh, that's a bummer.
So it dies.
So it kind of sucks a little bit of the joy out of them.
I feel. I mean, that's just my.
And also, the old
hypothesis.
setup was they didn't have a curtain, and then you
that's
see the
right.
bar,
Yeah.
and it just looks like you're just in a jazz club.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
this is a
yeah.
good place for like some jazz.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Not comedy.
Yeah.
So there's this one comic going up, and this guy was literally getting nothing, but he was so happy. Like he would say something like he goes, and then then this happened, man, and then the other thing, and then he went to the next thing, and then eventually he said something, and then he was like he said the punchline, he goes, then that happened, then he's like,
Happiness does not beget hilarity.
bro, and this guy like tapped his chest, and they like the smile, like he looked over, he's like, and then he did it like randomly, and then every comic in the back
Just
was
laugh.
like,
Of course.
like we were dying.
Nah, I remember watching this guy bomb, and he was the 5 stages of bombing in the same set. It was beautiful.
Right.
It was like because
Denial.
It started with like the guy.
with
The
denial.
denial is like, "Oh, you guys not getting? Come on, man! Right? Oh, wow, you think you're too good?" And then it switched to like apologizing and "Hey guys, come on, are you not?" I mean,
Bargaining,
and
then-
it was just, and then he
And then depression.
and then he was just like, well, it was just so like, but it was, and it was like a 10-minute set, and you could see the stages going boom, boom, boom. And I was like, oh my god, and I was laughing in the back because it was beautiful to
Oh,
watch.
that's so funny.
But I was like, but it was so funny to be like, oh yeah, because especially when we, as comic when shit, we're not even bombing. To me, it's even funny when shit doesn't even work. Like you could be having a great set, but then you try something, and then the little things that we do, like
Yeah.
so like whatever. Like it's funny to me because we're like we only know that we're like well that didn't work as I thought. Anyways,
and sometimes even saying that like even that could be like that's a tactic. Like I saw a guy do that same thing and like also it's funny seeing that the things to try to get out of a bomb didn't work. Like the guy said something that didn't laugh, like no one laughed, and he tried to go to crowd work, and I remember he was like, so where are you from? And the dude was just like, nah.
Oh no,
man.
And then he was like, man.
I cannot use any tricks on this.
And then he eventually brought someone up on stage and was like, DJ, play us some music.
Oh, that's a terrible idea.
And then the girl was just on stage, like she's like, what? Like she didn't like know what was happening. He goes, play some music. And then he goes, yeah, give us a little dance. Dance, yeah. And then the girl like started to like dance.
Oh my!
And then that got nothing. And then like the DJ just like she like stopped dancing. Then the DJ like lowered the music.
Oh man!
But he lowered the music and his mic. And then he's like, "Yeah, thank you." Oh, the mic's not. Yo, am I done? And then he just like laughed.
Yes, you're done.
You
were done before the dancing, my friend.
Those are the worst ones when you want to walk through that back to your car after the bomb and. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, yeah.
Like I mean, I feel like I only bombed like one time that was like I was like all right, like early on at the old haha.
Oh.
And I remember like just going back, like because it's funny as soon as you get off a stage, you kind of look at the other comics just to see. Because if you want somebody to go like, hey, it wasn't that bad. But the thing that's comedy, they don't, as we all know. Nobody says anything, but they all treat you like you got leprosy, so they don't even want to look at you. They're like,
yeah.
And then you're like, and you just like slowly.
Talk about superstition. We're going to catch it.
Yeah.
Okay,
have y'all ever seen a comic bomb and then when they get off stage, they try to dap you up? Like they basically they're basically, it's almost like, I don't know if they're dapping me up to say like, hey, I'm just walking past you. Because sometimes a comic will walk past. Like, if I'm at a comedy club and Francisco walks past me, and like I already said what up to him, and like we talked, and then if I run into him again, I'm gonna like touch him.
Right.
Or dap him up in some way. And be like, yo, what up? You're something, I guess, right? It's like that happens at the store a lot, because you'll see someone, you just had a conversation, and you go somewhere else, and then they walk in the hallway, and sometimes you just say what up, right? It happens. So it's like, there's also that, but like when a comic is leaving the stage and tries to dap me up, I made a promise to myself. It was like my New Year's resolution in 2018. I was like, I'm not going to lie to anybody. And that is a form of lying to me.
Oh,
to
really?
dap someone up and they bomb. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. So I've left people hanging before.
Oh, really? But why don't you just dap it and be like, that was bad?
Yeah, you can still be honest.
Yeah. No, because they'll do that and I'll just like... And I'll just like shoulder them.
Oh God! Remember not to walk towards you after a bad gig.
Yeah, get away from me.
Sucked it. I just need friendship. I need some friendship now. And you're like, nah, man.
Dude, see, because arguably, I think I'm being a better friend by doing that. Because then if someone like, what happened, I could probably articulate exactly what happened. But I don't think anyone wants to have that conversation.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'd be like, yeah, dude, material just, very rarely have I seen a comic with great material do bad.
Yeah.
It's like if they do awesome material and the crowd is not into it, they'll find a way to make it fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you get to a point when even if a comic is not doing well with the crowd, they're still you get to a point where like they still do good. You know what I mean? And it's just fun. I mean, and then sometimes I see people that are you could tell they're good at comedy, even if they're not getting laughs, because you could just tell how like they're comfortable with it. It's like, oh, this is not working, whatever. Yeah, it's just when you're new. And you don't know what to do. That's the true bombing, I guess.
Yeah,
it's a combination of like you don't know what to do, and maybe the crowd wasn't as good at it, and that's where. But when you're already done it for a while, we all know how to like kind of get away with it.
Dig yourself out.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah, I guess we gotta wrap it. Man, you've been an amazing guest. We do have one last question, which since this is a travel podcast, but it's been great.
We talk about the travel of his life.
Yeah, of course. And first time on a plane was to come to LA.
Yes.
So
But
we'd love to ask, do you have a favorite piece of travel advice that you'd love to hand down to people?
I mean, unless you just travel, this is your only travel was once to LA. I've never traveled before.
And best travel advice is pack light.
Pack light.
Yeah. You can buy it when you get there.
Pack light, why? Because you're gonna get in a fight with your gang members.
There's roaming gangs looking to steal shit from you, so pack light.
I just think it's so many people just overpack. And
I'm
it's like,
one of those.
And it's like, bro, just it depends on how many days you're going for. Like, I would assume that if you're leaving for like between 1 to 6 days, a carry-on and a backpack is enough.
Totally.
I mean, well, but for us as comedians or performers, sometimes you gotta, if you want to sell merch, you gotta, check a bag or something.
Right, yeah, that's true.
That's
merch
for the
is
average
tough.
person, I guess with the exception of merchandise and job, my advice is pack light.
Yeah, that is true. I think that's a good amount. Like, I think it's after a week or a week, I think you gotta check I think to me, I would check a bag. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because that's like a lot of time. I'm like, I don't want to be, that's a little.
Yeah, 7 days worth of clothing is a good cut off.
A good of checking a bag. But if it's like 5 days, carry on. I agree with that. Because we always wear the same thing anyways, no matter what. You know what I mean?
Also, it's like just such a pain, bro, to like drag this large suitcase. And like sometimes I'm so
tired. Or to
tired,
wait for it to show up at the airport. Waiting for your checked bag to show up.
Yeah, like in Orlando, like when I got there, I landed. I had to wait an hour and a half for the bags to come out because there was thunderstorms, thunder. So they couldn't, like the people can't, But even that, I had to wait. I could have just left early, you know what I mean? So yeah, man.
Yeah,
so pack light and sneeze tight.
Sneeze tight, pack light. Yeah, man.
All right, man. Well, hey, so quickly before you leave, if you can, do you have any shows coming up that you wanna? This is gonna come out pretty soon. I think tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or
tomorrow?
Friday. No.
Friday, I think.
Yeah.
Friday? Yeah. So if you go to...
You can look at the camera.
Yeah. Go to at Paul Elia on Instagram. And I got a show at the Comedy Store October 4th. I got Cobb's Comedy Club October 6th. And I got a bunch of other shows coming up in LA and in Detroit December 8th. And a bunch of other cities. So just go on my Instagram, my link tree. Everything's on there.
Well, what is it?
At Paul Elia on Instagram.
Cool.
And on TikTok too.
Awesome. I thought your Instagram was just Michael Imperioli.
Too many letters. Someone else took it.
Well, for us, thank you for coming. I am performing October 1st, LA here, co-headlining with Carlos Santos. Check that out on my Instagram. Also, I'm going to be in Vegas October 3rd to the 9th. I'm actually headlining the first time there.
Nice.
3rd and 4th.
Brad
Garrett's Comedy Club.
Nicely done, man.
And then I'm doing also Escondido, California, November 11 and 12. And what about you?
Sweet.
Are you going to New York?
Going to New York next week. This weekend, I'm opening for Jim Jeffries in Seattle and Portland. So if you like Jim Jeffries, come down and see me tell some jokes before he smashes the shit out of it for an hour and a half. Boy, does 90-minute shows, man.
Wow.
And then next week, I'm at Caroline's on Broadway in New York. So if you like my shtick, please come out there.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks, Paul, for coming. Thank you for joining the podcast or for being in the podcast. We appreciate it. Thank you,
Thanks,
buddy.
man.
And remember to subscribe, write comments,
Click things,
listen,
ask us questions.
subscribe in iTunes so we can get up the chart.
Yeah.
In YouTube, all this stuff.
Yeah, we love that too. We haven't been reading things like on air when we've been having our guests, especially when we have great guests who, we just riff back and forth. But we would love you guys to send in your stories or questions, and we'll start throwing them to guests.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't hoard your likes. Just fucking like it.
Just like it.
There you
Yeah,
go.
just like it.
Yeah.
Just like everything. All right. Thank you. Bye, hello.